Have you heard of the Cyber Apocalypse 2025 Tales from Eldoria? It's HackTheBox's biggest CTF of the year, featuring a massive prize pool over 95,000. And with that in mind, we'll be tackling a beginner-friendly challenge from the 2024 track called a Flag Command. And this very easy web challenge places you in a strange forest maze where puzzles, clues, and unexpected encounters will test your problem-solving skills. We'll be diving into the source code to really unravel this challenge. So let's get started. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize when doing this challenge, especially for beginners who have never done any type of CTF challenges, when I started this instance, HackTheBox provided us with an IP address with a particular port number. This is the only thing that we really need to target. We don't want to go out of scope in terms of doing any type of enumerations on ports. We were only given this IP address with this port, and that's the only thing that we need to target. So we'll simply copy this, go ahead and open up our browser and then paste that in. And now we can actually start working on this challenge. So let's take a look. It looks like it is a little text-based MUD. So it's like an RPG style. Go ahead and read it. But what the first thing I see here is punch in start to kick things off in this twisted adventure. We can kind of see here at the bottom. So it looks like it's a terminal adventure type challenge. So I'm going to simply write start, and you wake up in a forest and you have 4 options. Head north, head south, head east, head west. Okay. All right, so what if we did head west? You decide to head west where legend says the sun goes to die. Apparently it's not the only thing dying today. After walking a mere 5 paces, you fall into a pit cleverly disguised. Looks like I had to scroll down by leaves. It turns out to be the home of an irate badger who's not too happy about you dropping in unannounced. He introduces you to his teeth and you're dead. Game over. Okay, so you died. You couldn't escape the forest. Press restart. I'm assuming we'll probably have to write it. Okay. And it looks like the game starts over. Okay, so it's a very simple head north, head south, head east, head west, so forth and so on. And it looks like we do need to figure out how to make the correct choices to actually leave this. So the first thing I like doing with the challenge is just running it purely how it's supposed to be run. I might do another option. Let's go ahead and head north, see if that changes anything. It gives us some more dialogue, and it gives us some more options. Okay. So what if we did climb a tree? Just simply lowercase. Okay, so it is case sensitive. So there is some type of verification there. Another game over. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and restart it. So the thing that I like doing is again, just running through the challenge like it's supposed to be, see what are my options. And then from here, let's go ahead and take a look at the page source because we want to see exactly what is the logic behind this game and what do we need to do. Obviously, we might need to find a way out of this, but how exactly? Okay, so here we go. Here is the page source, and we're seeing some CSS, some style sheets, so we don't want to go into that. It looks like they named it appropriately, terminal commands. So it's just kind of styling the way the game looks in this case. But what we're interested is any type of JavaScript files. So here we go. We got commands JavaScript, main JavaScript, and game JavaScript. And then here we have a nice little script that is importing a start commander, enter key, and user text input from the main JS. Okay, and the main JS is right there. And let's see, start commander, key up, enter key, and then there's an event listener on the terminal based on the commands. So let's take a look at the commands. So it's exporting, okay, you wake up in the forest. Here are our options, initial options, game lost, game won. Very cool. Here is export const info. So these are the info, the return messages. Nothing really exciting here, right? What I'm looking for is maybe some type of API or post calls. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And let's take a look at the next one. So the next one is main. And main is importing a bunch of things from the commands.js. So let's go ahead and open that as well. Oh, we did open that. Let's go ahead and open up game as well. Okay, so it's porting those commands that we just looked at, right? And the other thing that is important is player lost and player won from the game.js, and that's what we opened up here. So let's take a look at this. And it's just game mechanics with some delay. All right, message type and some styling. And okay, error and success, game lost, game won. So nothing really interesting here. It's just the logic, nothing that will really help us figure out this challenge too much. I'm going to go ahead and close that as well. So it looks like everything is going to be in the main.js. So let's dive into this and figure this out. So we can safely scrap these two, right? Any of these commands to eliminate them. Select, okay. Commander variables. This is just the logic. All right, here we go. HTTP request. This is the thing that I'm looking for. When we make a request or when we choose a certain path, here we go. So we are getting a fetch for an API endpoint for the monitor, and it's doing a post request with a header for JSON. And then in the body of that JSON, it's throwing the command with the current command. Okay. Very cool. All right. So that's an option then we can take a look at. We can probably either run Burp Suite and see what this endpoint results in when we do send that post request with the content type for JSON. And the other thing we could do is probably even curl it and see what our response is as well. So let's continue down. Let's read through this. All right. Game over. So there is some else if logic here. And then here we go. This is interesting. It's showing us, and I don't know if this is the correct path, but it is showing us a logic, an else if logic statement for head north, follow a mysterious path, current step 3, current step 2, set up a camp, current step 4. Very interesting. You do realize this is the else statement for if you do anything other than the commands that you're trying to input. Very cool. All right, text functions. Let's keep reading down. Not really seeing anything. Now, if you're not really familiar with JavaScript and you may find all of this intimidating, what you can simply do is at each section here where in JavaScript there is the forward slashes for comments, go ahead and just copy it. Or if you can fit the entire main.js into ChatGPT, it can break it down this code for you and you could start asking it questions. But it looks like the challenge does have some pretty nice hints, process remaining text with style and unstyle parts and apply typing effect. So if you see a comment like this, then most likely this information here is not really relevant. You don't have to figure out how to deal with it. You just move on. Display a line in the terminal. Okay. Display multiple lines in the terminal. Sure. Here is something interesting. Event listeners. User input key down event listener. If a response is being fetched, do nothing on enter. And there is an else, if else statement. An arrow up, an arrow down. Available user commands. All right, this is awesome. I'd like to see that. Key command bindings, help, start. Initial options, sure. Here is audio, audio turned off, on. Still not what I'm looking for. Let's keep going. Command handler, okay. Possible states, game has not started, false. Game is in progress, game has ended. Okay, so 3 possible states. All right, display end game message. The game has ended. Please type restart to start the game again. All right. And here's a const for fetch options. This is interesting. Here is another. So there is a fetch API endpoint for options. And it's giving us back in JSON. So I like this one a lot. This is at the very end of the entire document. It would have been nice to be at the top, but still nonetheless important to go through all the code, figure out where our attack vector is. But now we have 2 API endpoints, API options, and then the other one at the very top. What was that one? API monitor. I'm not sure about the monitor one. I think the options one I kind of want to take a look at, see what are our options, and then we'll go from there. So with that, let's go ahead and open up a terminal. And then I'm going to cd into hackthebox. I don't think I have a flag command, so I'm going to make a dir for flag command. Cd into flag command. All right. And now let's take a look. So I want to copy this IP address. All right, from here, let's go ahead and curl the HTTP, the IP address that we were given, and then the port that we were given for the API options endpoint. And if we go back here into the source code, we know it is coming back as JSON. So let's go ahead and pipe it into JQ just so that we can make it nice and colorful and pretty. And there we go. We got back some information. All possible commands is coming back. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it looks like we're getting here a secret. Bleep, blop, in a pickle with a hiccup, smiggity smack. Okay. All right. I think this is probably the route to go, right? The secret. We need to figure out how do we make this post request instead of doing head north and submitting that to the server. We want to submit the secret, the bleep blop secret here. So I'm going to simply open up my clipboard manager just so I can have that. And I'm going to simply copy that into my clipboard. So now I have that in my clipboard. And now let's go ahead and open up a new window. And then from here, let's start crafting our curl command to this API endpoint. And then what we want to do is we'll go back here and throw this entire command back up. But instead of the options endpoint, remember we had the other one, the monitor. And I'm assuming the monitor is the one that we're making those requests to. So in this case, if we wanted to send the data request, head north to this, and that will take the command. In this case, if we just simply curl the command, here is it coming back an error message. The method is not allowed for the request URL. So it is telling us the type method not allowed. From here, let's go ahead and clear the screen and go back into the page source, and we'll do find for the API monitor. And there it is. Okay. So from here, let's take a look at this HTTP request. And what we're trying to establish here is we need to figure out how do we make this curl request proper so we don't get that error. And we're looking here, we're doing a post request already with the curl, but what we're missing here is this JSON header for the content type. So we do need to copy this and throw that into our notes. And the other thing we're missing is here in the body, we're missing this JSON command, and it looks like it's using the JSON stringify to make it a string. And here is the command that we need to input into the data of the curl command. And here it's just showing us the command that we need. This is the command that is in the main JavaScript and commands JavaScript. And here in the current command is where essentially we're placing the head north, head west, or in this case, what we want to place is the secret message. And I noticed here in this nice little if then statement is there is an or operator for available options being the secret and to include the current command. So we're essentially going to be replacing here the current command for the secret. So, but we need to establish the curl command properly with the header, the body. So now that we know all that, let's go ahead, go back into our terminal, and then we'll do a curl command here for the monitor. And now I'm going to use this backslash to keep it nice and easy and readable for you all, but you don't need to use a backslash. You could do it all in one line. And then I'm going to use the H flag for the headers. And here we're placing that content type application in the header. So there is that part, and I'm doing another backslash to input the next content, and that's the data, right? The command with the beep, bleep, blop in a pickle with a hiccup, smidgety smack. So there is our curl command. I'm just going to verify it. Again, you don't need this backslashes. You can simply just remove that, have one entire command code, but I'm doing this for YouTube's. So now that we have that header content type, it looks good. And then the data command, it looks good. So from here, we can go ahead and simply send that. And there we go. We got back the hack the box flag for this challenge. So I'm going to simply copy that and then throw it into the flag. So that's pretty much it for this very easy web challenge from the 2024 track. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this, want to see more of these, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.